Over the past 10 years, I've been milling my own flour, but I have been strictly using organic einkorn berries from einkorn.com or ancientgrains.com. And before that, I was milling hard white wheat berries. But I wanted the higher nutrition level that comes from einkorn compared to whole wheat. Einkorn is much higher in lutein, which is very good for your eyes, and a lot of other vitamins and minerals than hard white wheat is. Also, the hard white wheat that I had been buying was from a local farmer in the Treasure Valley, but it was not organic. And so I was really excited. I am really excited to use organic. Right now I'm showing you the difference between einkorn berries and hard white wheat. The einkorn is the smaller and the hard white wheat is the larger berry. Einkorn berries have only 12 chromosomes, where hard white wheat today has about 42 chromosomes. And so it's the great grandfather of wheat. Before it was, it is not genetically modified, but it is over the years it does change, and the wheat has changed that much. So it's got more than twice as many chromosomes than it used to have. I do have a bunch of 50-gallon buckets, or not 50-gallon buckets, I've got 5-gallon buckets stored of the not organic hard white wheat. But I choose hard white wheat because the hard red wheat is a little strong in flavor for me, and I like the lighter color and the lighter flavor of the hard white wheat. But hard white wheat has much higher gluten content than einkorn berries or kamut berries or rye berries, and so I am going to get started using hard white wheat for my sourdough bread so that I can get a really beautiful rise on it. So I'm just putting this recipe together. It's on the blog, farmhouseharvest.net, and I am just using this simple sourdough bread recipe. It uses less starter, and it is a very easy to handle dough. After it gets mixed up, it's not very sticky, which I really like. My last order from ancientgrains.com, I did get a big bucket of the organic hard white wheat, and I did get another bucket of the kamut and another bucket of the rye flour. And I am really excited to just use different blends of the fresh ground flour making sourdough bread, and have come to a point in my life where I feel like that is the healthiest bread I can make for my family and for myself. And so that's really the only bread I feel good eating, when it's fresh ground and it is sourdough. I've always had this issue where my family and I love eating bread straight out of the oven. The issue with that is it's harder to cut, and so we cut large pieces, so they're like an inch thick slices of sourdough bread, spread some butter on there. It's delicious. Only problem is I end up eating way too much bread. And so I bought a bread slicer, you can see right there on the left, and that helps to guide your knife and keep your slices even, but it also has different size slices, so you can do like a 1/4-inch slice to a 1/2-inch slice. So I'm super excited to be able to use this around the house, and I can make more normal sized slices of bread for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or French toast or whatever it is I'm making, and I don't end up eating too much bread all at once. You can find these bread slicing guides on Amazon. Just Google sourdough bread slicing, thin slicing bread machine. There's no really machine to do it, but there are a bunch of these bamboo or plastic. They're kind of like a cutting board with guides for your bread knife. Then I also did pick up a few of the bread bags. They are lined with beeswax wrapped fabric, so it just helps to keep your bread moist and not dried out. but you don't have to use plastic. So, and it's reusable. These will last for years. They cost like $15 a piece, and I'll probably have them for like 5 years. I was talking to somebody on Facebook the other day who was asking about what to keep your sourdough bread in so that it doesn't go bad fast. And of course I said the Beeswax bread bags. And she said, well, mine never lasts more than 3 days. Honestly, my sourdough bread does not last longer than 3 days at my house either. Honestly, it's usually gone before 3 days is over, but if it is, I'm already baking my next batch of bread, so then anything that's left will go out to the chickens, or I will make croutons for salads. One of my family's, or my husband and I's, favorite food is an egg sandwich. So my husband does not like avocado. I like avocado on mine. But usually in the mornings we'll get up, we'll take the kids and go to the gym and get a little workout. My husband will run, and then we will come home and make these several days a week because we have a ton of eggs and the sourdough bread. And so of course I like mine, like I said, with avocado. My husband will just make it with cheese, and then you toast your bread, and it is a high protein, filling, really good. I call it brunch because I'm doing breakfast and lunch. If you have not tried a sandwich like this and you like avocado, you will love this sandwich. I have made this recipe a few times now. It is a black bean soup. I did have it for the first time at the Cheesecake Factory several years ago. But this is my version of that. Does not their recipe at all. And I am making a big pot of it. And I have been soaking these black beans for a couple of days now. I like to soak them for a few days, rinse them. A lot of the black color comes off when you do that, but I also like to add a little bit of vinegar just to help pre-digest some of the whatever it is in beans that gives people gas. I have found that soaking beans overnight, at least overnight, so for about 24 hours, makes them much easier on your digestion and my family's digestion, which everyone really appreciates. But this is a bean soup, and even though it's bean soup, I am using a lot of different vegetables. So the staple 3 things that I use in most soups, which is always carrots, celery, and onion. Those are my 3 basic vegetables for soup. I'm also using some homemade chicken bone broth in this quart jar, and I am using leeks, which I just have a newfound love for. But what I'm doing is just chopping everything up. I'm going to be simmering these pre-soaked beans in chicken broth stock with these vegetables. And then what you do is you use an immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, you don't have to use it at all, but you do blend the beans and some of the vegetables. You can leave it chunky, you can make it completely smooth, however you like it. I like mine to be a little bit chunky, but also have the smooth in there too, because it thickens it and it just gives it a really nice texture. And this is one of my new favorite soups that I have been making this year. I've been reading Dr. Furman's book, Eat to Live, and he talks about making bean soup and how healthy beans are for you and for your digestion and for a prebiotic and for probiotics in your gut flora. And so I have been trying to implement that into our diet, and it is delicious. I must say it is delicious. It is filling. It is satisfying. My kids like it with some corn chips or something so they can use it like a dip. I just eat a bowl of it. It is really good. And I am garnishing it tonight with cream, although I'm out of cream. So I took some sour cream and I whisked it with some milk to water it down and use that as a garnish. I was wondering about the nutritional value of beans, especially with the different colors of beans. because there's a lot of vitamins and antioxidants, especially in vegetables that are dark colored, like blueberries, blackberries, purple cabbage. And so I was wondering if beans were the same story, if they had those polyphenols in them that were giving them in that pigment color that made them super healthy. So I did a little bit of research and was happy to find out that black beans are that way. Beans are that way. So the very black color of the beans, those are polyphenols. They are very high in antioxidants and nutrients, very nutrient dense, much more than like a kidney bean or a white bean. And lucky for me, black beans are one of my family's favorite types of beans. I did a video last year teaching people how to pressure can black beans. Of course, it was any kind of bean. You use the same recipe. And I will link that in the description box below if you're interested. But cooking beans from dry instead of using commercially canned beans makes them much healthier because you're not adding anything to it except for a little bit of salt if you want, and that's completely optional. This bean soup is also very good with some sourdough rolls, and I will link that recipe down below. On this night, we decided to put together a tuna casserole. Well, I'm calling it a high-protein tuna casserole because I use a lot more tuna. You can also make this with canned chicken. I will link the recipe for this down below. It is a cheap dinner idea. It's also very nourishing and very filling. It is egg noodles. The recipe I wrote on the blog calls for 2 cans of tuna. I'm actually putting 3 cans in this recipe for my family because I wanted extra protein in there. Peas, and it's got onion, it's got cream of mushroom soup, which you can make from scratch or you can use in a can like I'm doing at this recipe, but it's also topped with some very yummy topping. It is an Italian panko bread crumb mixed with butter, parsley, and some cheddar cheese, and then just baked until it is perfectly crispy on top. This is a flavorful classic for a reason. Your grandma used to make this, maybe your mom used to make it, but it is a satisfying dinner that is very easy on your budget. It's a timeless classic family casserole dinner. If you ask me, for a reason. It is just one of those things that you can always keep everything in your pantry and in your freezer and always have it ready to go. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that bell notification so that you can see our new videos coming out, and we'll see you next time.